guys, the Drunken Ewok here. I think it has been a good solid 9 months since my last YouTube video, and I would say that we have quite a way to measure that time frame, so I think that's what I'm going off of. This is...
Basketball season was 9 months ago?
Yeah. It was.
Oh, the baby. Yeah.
It's a good little basketball now. This is Papa Ewok here. It's all his fault. And anyway, the new Star Wars film is out, so what better time for a Drunken Ewok to make a comeback than after... Sorry, dogs. Then after seeing Star Wars The Last Jedi. So we figured we would jump on here and do a little quick non-spoiler review, possibly going into some spoilers later on, but we'll try to get through it without giving away too much. In true Drunken Ewok fashion, though, I think we should start with your brew choice today.
This deliciously frothy beverage right here.
That one.
Yeah, we're talking. It's a American IPA from Left Hand Brewing Company out of Longmont, Colorado. They call it Extrovert IPA.
Smells good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Hoppy as hell.
Employee owned, righteously independent.
Word.
Righteously.
Word. I said word. No, it's actually pretty good. It's standard fare for your American IPAs. Very much along the lines of like a Bell's Two Hearted or something like that. It's very unfiltered. It's thick and rich. It's like drinking a loaf of bread.
Head on it. Look at that head.
Look at the size of that head. You know,
Gorgeous.
I poured it pretty good. I went down. It's got good lacing, great finish. The best part is there's 4 more. So yeah.
It smells phenomenal.
It's pretty good. I bet you're just dying.
I am.
I apologize.
I'm trying so hard. I'm drinking ginger beer, which I will. You know what? Because this thing I've never seen before. I got this at Big Lots. I don't know how national Big Lots is.
It's worldwide.
I have a love-hate relationship with Big Lots.
I'm strictly love.
Big Lots Customer of the Year. Follow him on Instagram.
Don't follow me on Instagram.
Don't follow him on Instagram, but that's legit his name. I'm not Big Lots Customer of the Year. I find Big Lots to be riddled with junk, overpriced junk, and the occasional nice find.
Bob's Red Mill, $5 headphones.
$5 headphones, junk. Bob's Red Mill, score. I'll take it.
No.
But it's usually overpriced. Bob's
You need a
Red
box
Mill.
of like 30 cones for like $4.
Anyway, Fentimate, because you need 40 cones for what?
Keep 2 for myself and give 38 to the homeless.
Fentiman's botanically brewed traditional ginger beer. It must be appended before pouring. But I picked it
Shall
up.
I untwist it for you?
I picked it up because it didn't have a lot of junk in it. Fairly junk-free. Lots of good natural flavorings.
Not so bad. Although $3.25, you know, like you get a pretty decent amount of ginger beer at Trader Joe's. So it's pretty good for roughly the same price, right?
I like my Trader Joe's ginger beer better. This one doesn't have anywhere near as much sediment on the bottom, so you know that
we like our sediment.
We're getting more ginger in the Trader Joe's ginger beer experience. But anyway, this isn't a beer review.
We literally must digress.
So.
Yeah, tell everybody what you thought.
All right, we've seen it twice now. The first time, I was very, very critical, as I usually am, of Star Wars films. And I came out saying, it was good. I liked it as a standalone film. It was enjoyable as a Star Wars film. I feel like it missed many marks.
Cameras always throw me off.
Stop looking at yourself.
Continue. It's hard. I'm staring at me right there. So.
I understand.
Anyway, continue. I apologize for interrupting.
That's okay. I don't remember what I was saying.
Beautiful.
Star Wars. All right. So the issues as a Star Wars film, I felt like there were too many recognizable, too many cast members were recognizable for me. Too many recognizable actors.
Like you knew who they were in real life.
Yes, which pulled me right out of it.
Right out of it. Always does it.
Even the ones that I didn't know, I should have looked this up before, but there's somebody that's on the autism
spectrum?
Like me. Yeah, no, that's not what I was
somebody who's on the what?
I can't even remember what side she was on now that I'm thinking about it. I think she was with the Imperials, and she was just one of the random characters that was sitting in front of a computer. And she's played a ridiculous character on something else, and I remember her, she's a very kind of homely looking woman, and I remember having this, like, crazy sexual role in, like, some other film, and or TV show. I can't remember what the heck it was, but I spent most of the time she was on screen trying to remember where the hell I had seen this woman before I was doing right now. So there was even the people that weren't that recognizable, like Benicio del Toro recognizable, it still bothered me that I knew who they were. So now granted, we've done that in episodes 1, 2, and 3, but we don't really even count that as part of the Star Wars canon anymore. So it's like,
well, they're there, so you can't really ignore them.
But it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me as much when it was Natalie Portman, for whatever reason. She was well suited for that role.
I don't know. Like, whenever she was on screen, I thought, like, I was just like, God damn, who taught this person to act? I had no idea what she was doing. Everything sounded so wooden. I mean, I know that was a fact of, having to act against the screen, but at the same time, it was just so...
This is reminding me of Mr. Plinkett's review now.
They're a little too influential on me, but I won't. Yeah.
So anyway, well-known characters pulled me out of the universe. Comedy shoved in Marvel style pulled me out of the universe.
I wouldn't say Marvel style, but I get
not
what you're
quite
saying.
Marvel. We're not quite
done for the same reasons.
I can't speak today.
Ragnarok.
We're not quite that level of comedy shoved in, but it was enough to be off-putting, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, not everybody's as sophisticated as Taika Waititi either, so, I mean, at least his style and delivery is refined, at least, and there's a goal to the joke.
You can get away with it in Marvel. Like, the Marvel Universe is... I don't know. Anyway.
They set themselves up for that.
So there's that. I feel like there was a...
Star Wars didn't set itself up for jokes. So, yeah.
I mean, they did, but...
At its core, it's basically about, like, a guy who got his arms and legs chopped off, wanting to kill his own son.
Really sad and tragic. The Luke story, without giving away too much, I found to be not what I would have ever expected Luke. I would never have expected that life from Luke and those beliefs to arise from Luke. The Luke that we know and love and
they kind of rewrote his character a bit.
They did, completely. Now it had a nice arc in this film that stood alone well. Like, it's a really good film as a standalone, but in the Star Wars universe, I just don't really feel like it gave me the things that I wanted to see. It didn't feel like I was in the Star Wars
wasn't
universe.
A Star Wars movie.
And that's that. So, that's pretty much my...
It had all the Star Wars characters. It took place in the Star Wars universe. But it just didn't feel like a Star Wars movie, and I know what you mean.
It didn't. But I do feel like it was 2 hours, I don't know the exact runtime, but roughly 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it went by like that. So I will say that it was fast enough paced. There was only one part where I was like, oh my god, are we going into episode 1? Am I really going to have to start punching people? And it redeemed itself within about 10 minutes. So I'm okay with that.
There was one scene that was pretty much right out of episode 1.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But it might be the same thing you're talking about, and if not, then we both have something to share.
It has to be.
But we'll see. We'll see.
It has to be the same.
I don't know. It probably is, but we'll see. It probably is. But
so that's my quick 252 second.
That was not 2 seconds.
Non-spoiler review.
In any way, shape, or form.
What is your quick non-spoiler review?
I think, like you, I find it hard to sort of quantify how I felt about this movie. Look, right away, it's a movie, and I enjoyed myself. I sat there, and I had a good time. I stayed awake for the whole thing. I didn't want to miss any of it. Like you said, it was 2 hours, 45 minutes long, and it didn't feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes long. But as you also said, there were some serious flaws to it that kind of made it, offensive. Thank you, because now that I'm talking, I can't mess with it. It sort of made it offensive to people who kind of like glom onto the whole, Star Wars canon and this story needs to tell me, what I want it to tell me, and if it doesn't tell me that story, I'm gonna get all upset, 'cause that's not the story I know. But I just kind of look for a few things, does it feel like they actually spent some time on the story? I think they spent time on the story, but I don't really think that they spent time with thinking everything had to connect, because there's a big middle chunk of that story that just didn't need to be there in any way, shape, or form, and just felt like it was something for a couple characters to do. And it
Are we talking about the same 10 minutes again?
It wasn't 10 minutes either. It was a significant chunk of the story, and introduced Benicio del Toro, who was Benicio del Toro. It wasn't Benicio del Toro stars as this guy, and it was this amazing performance. It was Benicio del Toro as Benicio del Toro in Star Wars, it's like it was not at all what you expect from Star Wars. Like, nobody knew who Billy D. Williams was. He came on the scene and he tore it up. Like, that was pretty badass. And and he learned something. Things happened to his character. Nothing really happened to Benicio del Toro's character. And
kind of.
Not really. I mean, do we have to wait and find out to finish? No, like, everything should sort of stand alone. But look, it was a good movie, and I liked watching it, but it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. And it's funny that I just stuttered there, but it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. It felt like they just sort of did whatever they wanted to with the characters that were Star Wars characters. And I mean, because the only real character who was somebody in Star Wars was Luke that anything happened to in this movie. I mean, Leia was there, and she was part of the plot, but nothing really happened to her. Spoiler, sorry.
I mean, aside from
things happened.
The one thing that happened to her.
The one thing that happened. Well, there was several things that happened to her, and there were some things for her to deal with. And
so we watched it a second time.
Uh-huh.
2 days later. And what did you feel the second time through? I liked it a little bit better because I wasn't being as critical of it. But
same. I wasn't either. Like, I knew exactly what was happening. But there were a couple of things. Like, I walked out to use the bathroom, I think, and the first time we watched it, so I was like, well, what happened with this? So I finally got to see what happened, and it wasn't anything that big of a deal that I missed. But, like, I was still happy that I got to see it, so I was kind of paying attention and watching out for it. But some of the characters sort of shone through a little bit better on the second time around. I thought General Hux was awesome. I think he's, like, the single best character in the whole movie.
In the whole movie?
As he's played and as he is and everything that happens to him, I like every minute he's on screen, he chews up that scenery, and it's perfect for what Star Wars is trying to be. He's so
twerpy, though.
He's so twerpy. It's like, but he's so good. He's such a good character. I want to know what more about him. He's one of these undefined
Kylo
characters.
Ren should go start a colony somewhere together.
Well, they're trying.
Twerpy twerps.
They're trying real hard.
No. Well, wait, no. Spoilers. Princess Leia, do you want to be part of this review? Noisy little crap.
Yeah, that's our Leia.
Come here. No, I don't want to be part of the review. I want to go outside, Mom. Leia doesn't like it either.
No, she does not. Anywho.
So, should we go into spoiler alert mode now and continue this? This is Princess Leia, everyone. Mwah. She's better now.
Not as cute as she looks, I swear. Much like me. No. So anyway, are we going into spoilers now?
I guess.
It's probably a good time.
I mean, is there anything else we can say non-spoiler related? No, I think we hit all the points.
I think so.
If you want to stop now, go see it. It's an enjoyable film. Just don't expect to have your mind blown as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, like if you're a diehard Star Wars person, you're going to be underwhelmed maybe, or if you're a fanboy, you're going to just go nuts and be like, hey, look at all these explosions.
That was
some good Star Wars lightsaber battles.
Yeah, the CGI on it was pretty good, with the exception of the one
Those red guards, they're as cool as they look in the previews.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That scene was a good scene.
Yeah, they did a really good job with them and just being like they were a Nate Chekhov's gun that got used almost right away.
Yeah, just a
nice instant payoff. Like just when things started to lag and really kind of upset you with that movie. Like
it wasn't that early on though.
No, it was no. I don't mean no, but it was sort of early on. They revealed them earlier, I guess. But as soon as they introduced that scene, you knew they were going to come into play.
So wait, before just in case, you wanna go through your names?
I don't even remember the.
Oh man, never mind then. All right, never mind.
No, I know that this is a pizza slice ship. Dogbot? Imperial Dogbot? How do you do that?
Imperial Dogbot.
What is this? Rebel Diabetes strip
testing strip, yeah.
This is Mr. Coffee's uncle.
This is just Fleshlight.
Oh my god. Fleshlight 1.
Fleshlight 1 and Fleshlight 2. And if you want to know more, the rest of Carl's gave your name away. If you want to know the rest of Papa Ewok's,
I thought everybody already knew my name.
No, I try to be discreet here on the YouTube.
This is my favorite one. I can't figure out this backwards camera thing. That's Laundrobot.
Laundrobot. If you want to follow Big Lots Customer of the Year on Instagram, you can get his entire.
It's private. I don't know any of you weirdos.
Star Wars things. And speaking of crappy stores that I like, Five Below has some awesome Star Wars shirts right now.
Just always buy the one they only have one of.
$5. It's true. It's always the good one.
Always.
All right. Spoilers. I'm gonna bring a land speeder in.
No, nothing's gonna happen. There's not. It's just gonna be me looking stupid.
All right, so I fell asleep the second time we were at the theater, so my details might be a little fuzzy because I don't retain things fully the first time through.
My daughter, who we took the second time, taps me on the shoulder and says, "She fell asleep." I was like, "I know."
And he starts tapping me, and I'm like, I know.
They don't make it easy to go to the movies and stay awake anymore. They ply you with all kinds of sugary, crash out snacks.
Well,
they give you a recliner.
This one always gets the bucket of popcorn with free refills that's this large, and we eat it. Well, we almost eat it in about 5 minutes. You eat it. I stop after 5 minutes and go into a food coma.
I have no idea how I eat popcorn that fast. None.
It's so gross.
I don't know where it goes. It's disgusting.
Ugh. But we do it every time.
Every time.
And, so I went into a food coma, and there was a point where I was just like, this is nice and warm and comfy chair, and I'm all reclined, and being pregnant, I have to lay on my side, so there's that. I couldn't
That's true, too.
I'm laying on my side because it's mad uncomfortable if I do anything else.
Can you imagine if they, by law, had to provide, pillows for pregnant women? I mean, it's kind of, you can't, what country is this when you get to that level by that point? But can you just imagine? Just a dirty pillow.
That's all I could think about was how filthy
covered
that
in
would
butter
be.
and chocolate.
Icy.
Courtesy pillow.
Is that a red icy stain or?
Oh,
all right.
Moving on.
So yeah. Okay, I I don't like what they did with Luke's character. He becomes this... Okay, Luke's always been whiny, so...
Yeah, that's what I said.
They kept that. But
remember what a whiny little bitch he was in the first...
But he has now given up all of his belief and, faith in the Force, and the teachings of the Jedi, and he's done with all of that. And he's put it all behind him, and he's come to this island to die, as he says in the movie, which is where the ancient Jedi texts are. So he's protecting the Jedi texts, but really doesn't give a shit about them anymore.
I like when Yoda pops in. Oh, read them, have you?
How did you feel about Yoda? That's something that we could have actually talked about without spoiling. But...
I like that we got wacky old Yoda again. We didn't get the young, Begone the Clone Wars has. We got the real,
I like that
goofy...
too, but it still felt like, it was like they were doing this, like they tried to return to the roots, and I'm assuming it was still Frank Oz.
There's no doubt about it. Nora goes, Daddy, it sounds like a Muppet.
And they had, I guess they had a puppet,
Kid.
They had a puppet. You could see nothing but the puppet mouth moving. But yet it felt CGI still. So it was weird to me. It wasn't, bad CGI, episode, 3, Yoda flipping around freaking with a lightsaber, but...
There was 2 times where I really felt like Luke was Luke from Star Wars. And it was when he sees Chewie for the first time and when Yoda comes back. And at both times he has that Luke
and R2,
inflection.
R2.
And R2. There was the 3 sort of reunions. With R2 it was kind of cool. It was a little more fan service, so it was I
liked that.
The Chewie one I liked the most because it was it was pissed off Chewie just blowing the doors and
Chewie was great. Okay. I love Chewie.
But every scene he was in was great.
Except, and this is coming from the vegetarian.
You didn't like the fake looking...
Why
the porg? Why did it have the feet still on it and they were barbecued too? And it was nicely basted and so evenly roasted.
I was annoyed. Okay, so the cute little bird things that you've seen, the porgs, are inhabitants of the island that Luke is living on.
They're like pigeons to Central Park.
Handful of other creatures that, reside on this island with Luke, including...
They start infesting the Falcon, and it's great. One of them's having babies in there.
No, it's been
funny. 2 days.
That was kind of, that made me giggle a little bit, just because they were taking over the Falcon.
It's been 2 days.
But
she wasn't there for a long time. It was maybe a week.
What did you expect from them when you saw the previews?
From the porgs?
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be one.
Right.
I thought there was only going to be one.
I did too.
I thought it was going to have a name. I thought it was going to be this alien race.
And then it talked.
I am so glad it was more like a tribble. It was
or communicate in some way.
Right. I thought it was going to have this role in the end, like the porg was going to save the day.
No, you want to know what the porgs did? They made Chewie turn vegetarian. That's all they did.
Yeah, but when at the end, they take a few of them with them when they leave the island and the planet that the island is on, Earth, I guess.
So, it was Ireland. It was an island offshoot of Ireland.
My kids who aren't as into Star Wars as a lot of other kids, the older one was like what planet is that? Is that Earth? Was he on Earth? They're from Earth, right? There's no Earth. There's a bunch of different planets and...
So I was annoyed. I felt like that was so there's this scene where Chewie's about to dig into this porg, and he looks down, and there's all these other little porgs.
This is delicious, perfectly basted and roasted. It looked like it came out of the Costco rotisserie. It should have been
it was plastic. It was bad.
It was painted and it was the worst prop you've ever seen it. It had the duck feet on it still, and they were straight out.
So he chases them away because he's they're watching him and being all judgy, and then he goes to take a bite, and then there's another one. And total puppy dog eyes, and tears are about to fall, and Chewie can't eat it. So you'd think as the vegetarian I would be cheering for this, but I was like, what in the hell is this Disney fried crap?
Yeah, crap. Disney that serves chicken fingers at every single carnival stop at the Come on, like, who are you kidding? Like,
I just felt like
like Chewie's like on a planet like he got dragged to. He's starving. He's probably starving. They probably brought those little wafery sticks that they.
Well, and Chewie would have gone, and he would have like smacked him, and he would have chowed
He's
down.
like, I come from a planet where it snows all the time, and I had to fight wars my entire youth. Like, I don't need you coming up here with your puppy dog poor guys. Like, there's billions of you. You can spare a couple, because I'm hungry, and I'm a Wookiee, and I need.
So Chewie the vegetarian.
We don't know the dietary restrictions on Wookiees. We don't know if their bodies are able to process, soy.
Well, anything that I
like
would know comes from a universe that no longer exists, thanks to.
Which is another thing. I mean, like this movie definitely tells you that they are moving on from.
Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. So
from that influence.
The only thing that I'm still holding on to, and this wasn't really. I mean. There's so many offshoots in the Star Wars universe. Like, it doesn't...
Yeah, I mean, like when you have, 37 different authors writing your stories.
But I still want to see Rey and Kylo be brother and sister, which...
Like friends?
No,
go to,
Like, I believe that they are brother and sister that were separated because of... But... In this film, we are told that is not the case. However... Rey's origins are left.
That could be.
Well,
it could be obfuscating.
It could be. Kylo could have told her that because he wants her to
join him.
But wouldn't you be like, yo?
I loved how quick his turn came as soon as he killed Snoke. Which, by the way, why you build up a villain like that? And then, everybody was like, it's because of Snoke. This is all because of Snoke. Kylo was because of Snoke. This is because... And then, just out like that, done. Out of it. And he ain't coming back.
Oh, no.
This isn't like a Stannis alive.
Snoke is done.
No, Snoke is done.
Done.
He got Darth Maul. Which is another callback.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, acknowledge it. There are people out there who think the prequels were good. And, a lot of them probably helped make this new Star Wars movie. I'm not gonna deny it. The one scene that I was alluding to earlier was, look, Finn's character is as awesome as he was coming in Force Awakens. I thought he would have so much to do in this movie, and his character is so great, a stormtrooper, right? Like having to overcome being a stormtrooper, okay, he did that, but things are still going on. So what's going to happen? And I thought it was going to be so great. And they literally gave him nothing to do. They gave him this bull crap mission.
Well, it was all about proving how much he cares about Rey. That was all his entire storyline was. Let me do this to save Rey.
But it was the same thing again. It was we can't beat the First Order. Let me chicken out again. Let me get far away so she doesn't get hurt. And it's I get that. We went through that last movie. Let's give him something new to do. He's struggle with his newfound heroism. You know what I mean? How does he reconcile being a hero? That kind of stuff. Not go off to mining gambling city and free a couple of horse kangaroos.
Gambling city, mind you, that is straight out of 2017.
Yeah,
we now have casinos that have popped up in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
that are identical
casinos.
To our own.
You got they're playing
roulette and slots and
come on,
it was
I hated it. I hated it instantaneously. Even looking back at it from the second point of view, I even hated it more. And you know why? Because I saw it, and this is what I was just going to mention. But he's on. Finn and Rose were on the balcony, and she's giving him the rundown of all the things she hates about the planet where she grew up. And all I could think of was, I hate sand. It's all I could think of. I was like, they're doing this again. This is the boring crap. Nobody wants this. I don't want to watch Star Wars free the horses.
Well, and again, they went into this we're gonna relate to the empaths with Leia. free all the animals, and I don't know. It's cute and all.
I don't know
it's
either.
not
I
in the
don't know
Star
what the
Wars.
decision was, like who made it, like where it came from. I don't know how, like it'd be like, and at the end, this kid who works in the stables and was
That's at
knocked
the
down
end
by
of
a
the
giant
movie, too.
alien, like was supposed to be inspired by the rebellion and is going to take arms up with the rebellion. Like, but this is like it doesn't make any sense. Like this is just like some kid who worked in a stable. It would be one thing if there was a goal to this, like a in the end of the movie. But it's not inspiring. It's fake and it's forced and it comes off very, very phony. I don't know. It didn't work at all. Gambling is a thing that exists in our world, and they're trying to draw parallels with the arms.
I mean, yeah.
and war being like fought. Like the evil. There's evil people on both sides, and I just don't. Like we get that. But I don't think that that's what Star Wars was necessarily trying to do.
No.
I think they were trying to be more of a old sort of serial, like a Flash Gordon-y sci-fi thing that just was fantastic and had some neat elements that were rooted in our history and medieval history. This came out in the movies, the first three, and it's not here anymore, and that's what's missing. And a lot of people are going to complain about that.
Yes.
I'm not though. I don't care. I thought it was a fun movie.
I know you've been awfully critical for how you've been vocalizing your opinion about this over the last couple of days. Apollo.
Well, I can see like what certain people are feeling about it. And... oh my goodness, I think we're gonna have to stop.
What did you think about the movie? Did you like it?
Mommy's not gonna run with this one, is she?
I had something I wanted to say before that happened. I don't remember what it was. We were talking about Snoke. We were talking about I know, Captain Phasma's demise. That bother you?
Yes, very much so. It just wasn't satisfying.
Is it because we didn't want her to go though?
Because we like Gwendolyn Christie.
See, that's when you can cast a big name, as long as you put her in a stormtrooper costume.
Never show her face, ever. Ever. Her face is not shown once. You see her eye in 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yet you know it's her, and you want it to be that way. I don't know. I guess so. But once again, Finn was involved in that, so it to me it just had no stakes. And it follows the terrible Benicio del Toro plot.
Yeah, which I don't know. Yeah, I wish they had actually gotten the Master Cracker.
Yeah, not him.
Cracker.
Wasn't he played by like Justin Trudeau or something like that? I don't know. Some very interesting cameos in this movie. Laura Dern. I don't know. She played like a very soft-speaking Laura Dern.
That's another one that drove me nuts. Didn't like it. That whole character was ruined because of her. Oh my god. They're making this quite difficult.
Why don't you lay down, good girl? Why don't you lay down? Come on.
Alright. There was another thing I was going to say after Phasma. Hold on.
We had... So let's talk about the ending. So...
Oh, wait. No. Before we jump to the ending, let's talk about Leia. And
okay.
Her... Okay, so...
We have 3 things to talk about. Let's talk about Leia, then let's talk about Poe, and then let's talk about the ending. Okay.
Alright.
We're going to line it up for you guys.
Alright.
And we'll knock these out of the park, so don't worry.
I think most of us went into the film thinking Kylo Ren was going to kill Leia. Like, you see the missile strike that hits, just behind her.
Based on the trailers.
Well, yeah, exactly. Based on the trailers. And knowing, what happened in Force Awakens. And And there's some stuff leading up to it in the movie, even, you know, that would lead you to believe, like, he's gonna do it. His asshole's gonna kill his mom. And then he has this moment where he's, like, flying up in the TIE fighter, and he's, like, about to hit it, and he's like, no, I can't do it, I can't do it! And then, of course, the other guy that's flying with him is like, I can do it, bitch.
And he does it. He did it.
So then we see Leia exploding out into space with everything else.
That was well done. I thought that was a very well done scene. Like, I thought...
I have no problem with up until then.
Even leading up to it with Kylo Ren's TIE fighter flying through the different parts of the main ship and soaring up through the different angles. And then eventually, like, gets to that point above where he has his shot and he doesn't take it. But, like, destroying the entire fleet, giving them no option.
And then... Leia floats off into space, and we're thinking that she's gone forever, and you're getting emotional. I saw some tears falling over there.
So there was the part where they were gonna
well,
pull her off.
Well, I mean, everybody thought it, but you know what? At that point,
at
that point, I'm like, oh, she's gonna die. I'm not emotionally attached to this thing. She's already
You just
dead.
thought that
I
was
already
it.
cried.
You thought that was it.
And then they zoom in on her, and all of a sudden, her hand moves or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in deep frozen space, she now uses the Force to fly. Like, literally, like...
Mm-hmm.
Back.
Propel herself through a vacuum. Yes.
Just like that.
Yes.
Back to the ship.
Yes.
That annoyed me.
It looked like... It looked like the Electric Grandmother flying through the sky. It was like some sort of Hummel figurine. Like, it was just lost in space and just floating towards a giant, metal egg.
Metal egg.
And there she goes, There she is. Oh.
And she's not even, like, fully coherent when she's doing this, right?
And it's
like,
Deus Ex Machina. I mean, like, oh, now she knows how to use the Force. Oh, now she knows how. Like, she's with Grand Moff Tarkin and Vader for a whole damn ride. Don't use the Force when Alderaan needs you.
Well,
the
yeah,
entire
but she
planet
didn't
of Alderaan.
Obviously she didn't discover any of that until later on in her life.
I don't care.
Somehow she knew it was always there. But now it's vacant. Sorry, that was a Rey line, not a Leia line.
Which sort of, like, gave her only thing to do in the entire movie. She did it, and then she becomes Poe's mentor, and is trying to guide.
Well, she already
Poe
was.
into
She
being...
was Poe's mentor.
Yeah, but you didn't really pick up on that in the last movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. Not
I
until
thought you
this
meant
one where
in
you
this-
like,
yeah.
were you under the impression that Poe was trying to be groomed for leadership, going to be the next, leader of the rebellion.
All right, so
that sort
Poe.
of thing. Yeah. So Poe has an arc. Poe's story is very interesting. It's him struggling with not trying to kill everything and fight his way through everything and learning how to be a better tactician. And that by chance would make him a better leader and is a step on for, obviously everybody wants him to come into this position, and Leia obviously wants it.
And Leia demotes him. He ignores her orders when leading an attack, and ultimately
they're decimated. The rebels are decimated during this attack, and it looks like it's going to go well at first.
Well, and it goes well, but they lose all of their fighters that were part of the attack, except for Poe. So Leia demotes him when they come back, and or at least it's hinted at, that this is just to teach you a lesson, sort of thing. She still obviously highly respects him and the decision that he made and the ultimate, outcome of that. I mean, it was a massive direct hit that they had.
Yes.
But he then, she dies, or we think she dies. No, I guess at that point we know she didn't die. But
no,
she's in a coma, and
but I mean, they just gloss over it. But Admiral Akbar's dead. the entire leadership is dead. I mean, like, that's Akbar. That's Admiral Akbar. That's our boy. I mean, like, it's a trap. That's our, and he's died. They just kind of gloss over it, and you're just like, well, no funeral yet. You know, I guess they'll have it later.
Now is not the time for sorrow.
Yeah, you must get through it.
But then you're kind of like, man, this stupid. What's her name? I don't know her name.
The Admiral or the.
See, I spent so much time not reading anything about this as to not spoil anything that I have not read anything. And
Laura Dern's character, is insufferable.
She really is.
It's just every line that comes out of her mouth is almost like, why is Laura Dern in Star Wars?
So she's promoted to take Leia's place in her absence, and at this point, you're really like, man, Poe should be there. This is bullshit. Poe's freaking awesome. You start rooting for him again. Then I'm trying to remember what happened. Then
what happens is Finn's trying to escape because he picks up the beacon and then he wants to escape and get that beacon far away. So when Rey, goes to meet up with the beacon, she doesn't go anywhere near where the First Order is. So she's kept safe, and that's Finn's goal. And that is Finn's entire mission and Finn's BS. And that's where he meets Rose, whose sister died in the bombing attack that Poe led. So when he meets her, they come up with this great idea to take out the lead ship because there's only one ship tracking through through hyperspace. So they decide to come up with this mission to go onto the ship and take out its drive, and they have to figure out how. How do you do that? Oh, we need a code breaker. Well, there's no code breaker where they are. So what do? They conveniently teleport or light speed travel to some damn mining company planet, have their stupid adventure, and I mean,
Poe, though. I was trying to get back to Poe.
It's Poe's decision to do this. He's an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
But he follows through with the plan, and in order to keep his plan alive, he mutinies, and, they capture the Admiral, and he's on board there, and in the
Is it that easy to lead a takeover?
When there's only 400 of you, I mean, I guess so.
Hey, the 5 of you, come here with your blasters.
Yeah,
we're gonna tell this bitch what's up.
Yeah,
that seemed a little too easy.
It conveniently did seem a little too easy. I wasn't happy with any of it. I don't know how any of this was supposed to teach him a lesson, especially when every time the shit hit the fan, she went and told him to go ahead and shoot through things. So it was almost like, well, you're giving him permission. Tell him not to do it.
The whole thing. She knew that he should have been there.
Yeah.
He should have been in that place, and she just wanted to play.
Well, and he ends up...
Refined woman, you're just a cocky flyboy.
He ends up kind of being right, but only because it's his fault that they went and got the wrong code breaker who sold him out, so they end up finding out about the shuttles that are going down to the planet. So they follow the shuttles down to the planet, which is where we have our big end battle on the salt planet with the guy who licks it and says, salt. Which is how you know it's a salt planet, because, you don't know until the guy licks it and says salt, because, when they're going down, they can't say the salt planet.
The crystal kitty cats make you think it's kind of like
frozen and snow.
Planet, yeah. I thought we were getting
wind,
Hoth all over
the blasting
again.
Wind, right? You thought you do. You think you're getting this. And, I liked that it was this neat little rebel outpost a long time ago, and they had to jerry rig all their equipment.
That was cool. I didn't mind any of that, and I really liked the ending a lot.
Do you think those props that they were pulling out were props from Empire, from Hoth?
That's a good prop. Maybe.
Yeah, I bet they were.
I'll look into that.
If not, that's pretty good faithful recreations. I mean, it did kind of look like the rebel base on Hoth.
Oh, definitely more than when they tried to do... There was other times throughout the movie where they tried to do, like, Star Wars throwbacks, and they were not of the proper period.
No. Well, I mean, obviously, the casino was supposed to be a cantina. You know what I mean? The island was supposed to, like, there were some Dagobah elements to that, but, like, her and Rey never really trained.
I didn't mind no.
The lessons that he taught her, they were his lessons.
Yeah, well, I mean, other
than
the first, like, lesson 1, what is the Force? Yeah.
She just went and kept fighting people and lifting rocks.
Yeah.
Like she said, you know?
Yeah.
It was, like, she really didn't have any development. Like, she didn't, like, the two main characters, I mean, like, Luke, great development.
Yeah.
It was, it wasn't what you wanted as a Star Wars fan, but it was great development.
So, in the end, Luke, well, I mean, I guess we've spoiled all of this.
If you've seen this, you know that Luke Force projected himself there.
Well, I wasn't even going to get there yet, but yeah, I was going to say Luke goes to face Kylo Ren. Or Ben. Ben Solo.
Ben.
Okay, that's
Look,
what
I got a lot of
right.
friends named Ben, and I'm not trying to rag on the name Ben, but, like, could you pick a more emo name for our buddy Ben? I mean, like, I don't know.
So, aside from the fact that Luke just, like, I don't believe in the Force, not that he doesn't believe in the Force, but I don't believe, like, the Jedi, he says something along the lines of, like, you know, the Force belongs to all, not just the Jedi. If the Jedi fall, the power doesn't fall. The power of the Jedi doesn't fall, kind of thing. Which I understand that. But, like, his whole, like, F the Jedi attitude really bothered me. But what
it's not
really,
in character. It's
really,
not in character.
really, really bothered me was the whole, and I guess we don't know how it really played out, but either way, he sees a darkness in Ben Solo and is ready to kill him.
Yeah, that's not him.
That's not him at all.
No, he saw darkness in Vader and wanted to save him.
Right.
And defied the Emperor
and
to save him. So, yeah, not
completely uncharacteristic of Luke. Now, because I'm trying to think, now
these are entirely new movies, so, like, they'll just do whatever they want. It's a new generation.
But we see Luke's flashback, and then we see Ben's flashback. Was he trying to kill him in both?
He says, I had a moment, in his own flashback, he says, I had a moment of weakness. It was there, and it was gone, just like that. But in my weakness, you know, I was discovered, and blah, 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 and one thing leads to another. Rey pulls a house down on her, or Kylo Ren pulls a house down on him. He must have assumed I was dead. Good! All things in life can be fixed by assuming that the other person is not dead and proceeding to kill them with extreme prejudice so it never happens again. Just know for a fact that he's dead. You know what? I'm not sure the house fell on him, but you know what? I've got my Knights of Ren right here, and we're just going to dig it up until we find him and definitely kill him so we can be sure. And we can move forward with our plans. You've got a robotic
hand to search for, so not everything's going to burn.
Nope. All you need is a metal detector, to be honest with you. And don't tell me they don't have those. They can wire transistors, because you saw BB-8 doing it in the X-Wing. I did like that scene. You actually got to see inside the X-Wing and what they do in there. You know.
BB-8's got a good role in this. He's fun.
BB-8 played the Ewok with the AT-AT or with the ATST.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, who's that in the ATST? Another throwback scene. Another callback.
BB-8 gets the crap beat out of him when that missile comes into the hangar, right? And Poe's blasted.
Yeah, he gets his head knocked off.
Yeah.
So, like, it is kind of like, look, it's made really, really well. At no time do I feel like I'm watching a cartoon. Like, there's a couple scenes where it feels like with Leia going back to things, and with Maz, the hologram of Maz.
I never liked Maz.
I don't understand her character. Like, I don't. Like, she owns a cantina and she helps the rebels. So, like, what? She is a ninja? I don't know. Like, what is she? What is this? Is this are we gonna find out in the third one? Like, is she gonna swoop down with a jetpack and choo laser blast a bunch of people?
I felt like she was playing laser tag.
I
felt like she was playing laser tag the whole time she was talking.
Exactly.
Like she was in
Can't talk right now, playing laser tag. 3 12-year-olds are around the block. They got me in a classic pincer movement.
I thought we were in that episode of The Flash again.
By the way, watch The Flash. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but like if that
corny as shit, like just super cheesy. The first couple episodes I was like, I'm not watching this. We're not doing this. And then I got really addicted to it.
Fell in love with Cisco. And every once in a while,
Barry
Oliver Queen
Barry
shows up.
gets hotter and hotter as the seasons go on. It's hard.
So it's a Flash Arrow 3-way. So if either you guys know Grant Gustin,
He's
or...
alright. He's alright.
He's alright. He's no Charlie Hunnam. I don't even know who Charlie Hunnam is.
I was just assuming it was another name you were dropping that I didn't know,
I
but
think he's on like a show or something. Sexy guy on a magazine cover. He's got hair. He's got really good, sexy hair.
he's looking at you. You gonna grab this toy off Mom's chest or what?
I am not getting that toy. You can get that toy. That toy could induce labor. We're trying to wait till the new year.
Yes, baby Ewok is due the day after Christmas.
Boxing Day.
She's due on Boxing Day. The day spring standards come to Arden. That's a total local thing.
Hey, can you get out of here with that toy? Get out of here.
But we are hoping that baby Ewok stays in until January because, one, insurance will kick in, and two, Christmas is literally the one time of year I did not want to have kids because those kids just get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
Absolutely.
So.
I'm not taking your toy. But I do want you to get out of here. Get out of here. Go on. He's not getting out of here.
No, he's not.
Good boy. Yeah, right. Don't get out of here.
So the ending. You didn't realize what was happening until it happened, did you?
No.
Okay.
No one did.
All right.
There's no one predicted that because we've never seen it before. It's not like
true.
It's not like we've seen people force project themselves.
Have we?
I mean, maybe in one of the books. I don't read the books. I don't read the stupid books. Books are for smart people.
I don't know that. I don't know.
I don't read books.
I liked that. I liked
Books
that a
are-
lot.
Books are for the Analacronists.
And it was so, I mean, we're deep into spoilers here. It took all of his energy, I guess. Or was he... I guess it just took all of his energy and he passed on.
I guess so. I mean, like, I guess it's more that, like, his duty was fulfilled. There was no more he could do. Like,
So,
it's time, like,
So Luke goes out alone. He leaves the rebel base. And he stands in front of all of these AT-ATs.
super AT-ATs.
Super
They're
AT-ATs.
bigger than the other AT-ATs, and they got like cuffs on their boots,
And he takes, like just
70s
these
Marvel comics.
massive... Actually, Kylo comes down, right?
Well, they're up there, and they see him, and he says, fire on him with everything you've got,
And they fire on him with everything they
and that's when he does the the dirt off his shoulders.
So he comes out of this
Classic Mark Hamill. It's not Luke Skywalker. He was Mark
Hamill
right
is
there.
still a bad actor.
He's terrible. He's never been good. He's never been a good actor, and we know this.
But yeah, he comes out of all this AT-AT fire and just like is still standing there magically afterwards, and he just pushes his shoulder off, and Kylo comes down to meet him, and do they have another battle?
They do. They sword
do.
fight. They did. But the funny thing is, earlier in the movie, like, Luke actually says, like, you think I'm going to stand in front of the entire Imperial army with a laser sword? He says laser sword. It's funny. Like, there's some very wry, self-aware moments that make me, the troll in me, love this movie. It's like, they're literally spitting in the face of Star Wars fans and saying, like, screw you, we're gonna make $1 billion anyway, we're gonna do whatever we want. Like,
No, that's true.
Like,
so he stands in front of the entire Imperial army with a laser
with
sword.
a laser sword. But at the same time, like he doesn't because that's not him.
And then we realize that he's not actually there. He's still back on the island, meditating on his little rock, projecting himself to...
Sweating like a mug, too. It must have been hot up
and
on
then
that rock.
he passes away Yoda style. And...
He falls off and he climbs back up and he sees the twin suns. Remember? It's the twin suns. He sees them setting, like, and rising and setting. It's the whole callback to him in Luke's theme. He's got to leave, you know what I mean? Like,
I thought he was just sitting there and
he climbs. Remember, he's falling off the rocks and he's like, he pulls himself up on the rocks. He looks out and he sees the twin sun.
I guess we gotta go watch it for a third time.
Because apparently you can see the twin suns of Tatooine from every fucking planet.
No matter where you are.
No, you'll see them all.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's the twin suns of Tatooine. No, they don't warm us. We just see them. It's just a visual thing. Literally no effect on the climate whatsoever or gravity. It's just a
fictional universe.
Visual thing.
So, what do we miss?
So at the end of the movie...
We should have done this live chat so that...
Rey saves the day. Gets them all out of the thing and boards them all into the Millennium Falcon and they get the hell up out of there.
That's true.
So they got there's only like 100 left, right? There's only like 100 rebels left. There's nothing left.
Yeah, there isn't much left.
So
they get their asses.
It begs the question: at the end of Jedi, they defeat the Empire, correct? We are not given any story as to how the Empire has managed to crawl back into power, or any remnant of the Empire is what the First Order is. I mean, how we aren't told that, and from a point of view of a linear story, that's the next piece, and it doesn't make sense. There's a chapter missing. It's sort of like what happened between the civilization of Rome and
there's a
the
large
Age of
chunk
Enlightenment.
of time that has passed, though.
To an extent. Yeah, I mean, like 25 years.
I mean, it could potentially be longer. We don't
30
know
years.
We don't know that Luke and Leia popped out a kid right away.
Not right away, but yeah, he definitely banged them. She had her hair all done. Remember the Ewoks did her hair?
That was good hair.
Yeah, that was good nature girl hair. Did it in a hammock,
Don't
probably.
Want none unless you got space buns.
She does have them.
They're all over that movie. Lots of space buns.
Space buns everywhere. The blonde girl with the neck.
Isn't that Carrie Fisher's daughter?
Is that who that is?
I think so.
Oh, okay. No wonder she's in it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she was terrible.
Almost as bad as Carrie Fisher.
It was funny that she was betraying. She was part of the Pose group.
I'm curious to see what it was.
And that was neat how they led you to believe that Laura Dern's character was sort of like working for working for the Imperials, or for the First Order.
Did they?
They kind of, you didn't know, because he called her a traitor. You know what I mean? You didn't know why she was trying. They were stoking that.
I just felt like that was another forced. I'm sorry, there are so many damn women in this movie now. The forced feminism bullshit. I like Rey as a strong female lead, but I don't think we need 5 million strong female leads. And
no,
now it's
you can only really have one lead.
Well, not leads, but strong female supporting characters. It's like I sound like such a reverse sexist when I say this, but again, it takes me out of the Star Wars universe to see 9 million female pilots everywhere. Every chick has to be a badass. That annoyed me. And I've felt this way for the last 2 films, but it was acceptable in Force Awakens and Rogue One. Rogue One was such a dark, that was our Empire replacement.
Yeah, you got your down.
You get this and I appreciated
literally
that.
Everybody dies. Everybody
we think of a more depressing
dead
in Rogue One. I loved. I mean, I didn't love Rogue One, but I loved Rogue One for that.
Yeah, nobody loved Rogue One. I think there's a lot of I think a lot of hindsight will prove that Rogue One is a much better movie than people think it was. But because it sort of takes place in the Star Wars universe, it has kind of some constraints on it that make it not as cool as it could have been. I think you could make the story of Rogue One any sci-fi story. The Death Star is
strong standalone film. It's an okay standalone film.
Yeah, but but look at Ocean's 11. I mean, that's a heist movie. I mean, the heist movies work when you're doing it.
Yeah.
You just have to make the characters work, and the characters sort of worked.
Sort of.
I don't know who Cassian Andor is, and I certainly don't give a damn. Still don't.
So, if of the new 3 now that we have to compare to, how do you rate them?
Compared to each other, or I'll have to go Rogue One is the better one.
Really?
Than the other two. It's the only one that actually doesn't.
I think I have to
it's not an event. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like an event. It didn't feel like it had to be bigger because it was so important. And that's what I felt.
But I don't feel like
Last Jedi had to be so important, but it didn't fix everything. Luke dies and the First Order is still out there. I mean, is Jin gonna die? Or Rey or whoever they are, whatever their names are, Jin or so.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
You know what I meant. We brought up the other thing, so.
Yeah, I still think Force Awakens was. I would go Force Awakens. I'd go in order: Force Awakens, Rogue One,
1,
Last
2, 3.
Jedi.
I think Force Awakens is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have any porgs.
Maybe that's why.
Porgless.
They probably all should be porgless. That was another
I think they will be. I mean, I see no reason to go back to the island to get more porgs.
It's true. Maybe they need more breast milk though.
They probably will. The entire galaxy is starving. What shall we do? Well, we know a manatee somewhere with giant nipples.
And I mean, I get that
Let's
this is
milk
let's show off the cool, crazy Star Wars creatures.
Universe.
But
that's what the casino is for, and instead you get a really tiny, drunk.
Yeah, and lots of
gambling
regular-looking
addict.
humans.
Yeah, yeah. Or callbacks to the things you've seen in the cantina, the guy with the squid head, and then you see a woman who has the 2 vampire-y looking things that come off the top of her head. You know what I mean? I don't know what they are. She gets the teeth and shit. But I'm just saying, the casino was the stand-in for the cantina, and it was a poor stand-in for the cantina.
It was terrible. But that was the other
a
thing.
More wretched hive of scum and villainy, though.
Yeah, that's the other thing that bothered me, though, about the island that Luke's on, is it was just full of these unnecessary characters. The caretakers that have been taking care of the Jedi temples for eons are these...
See, Jim Henson's workshop needs work. Let's... make us a frog nun. We need 4 frog nuns.
I guess of the 3 main things you see on that island, though, the frog nuns are truest to the original style of characters.
They haven't had shit all to do forever. And then Rey comes along and gives them some things to clean up these rocks that I just shot a hole through. Make a new wagon that I destroyed. You know what I mean? Things like that.
I don't know.
But
what was the breastfeeding, the breast milk? So Luke survives on breast milk from these manatee-looking things with exceptionally large nipples, and the breast milk is
dinner plates.
The milk, I keep calling it breast milk. The milk is
the liquid, the extract. Call
blue
it the
green
extract.
is a minty.
The substrate.
It is a minty.
It's like a frothy Listerine.
Yeah, minty blue milk.
Yeah.
That I think they use.
It's like carbonated tempera paint.
And I guess is the sole purpose of that to just be like, you're not ready to live on this island, Ray? Like, is there another point to?
I don't think that was it. I think it's
grotesque-
just like, I think you're just supposed to like.
Because he takes a sip of it, and he's got that crazy like look in his eye, like.
I'm drinking manatee titty milk. It was so weird. It was just weird. It wasn't.
Am I weirded out by it? Are we weirded out by it because of all the breast videos we've had to watch recently in pregnancy classes, or was it just weird?
Let's think of the off-putting things from the first three movies. There was, it was mostly Jedi where these off-putting things were, with like Jabba eating the frogs and like the naked large woman dancing with the thinner woman like in Jabba's palace. It was all Jabba's palace was just the weirdest crap. Like, that's where everything took place. Like, can you imagine, like, doing ayahuasca at Jabba's palace? Like, that's probably why they all slept there overnight. Like, they all literally slept in the room. Like, they're, like, she sneaks down in there, and they're all, like, sleeping. Like, all of them. They're all sleeping. Like, they just, where they were standing.
Yeah, it's because the drugs are wearing off.
That's because they're puppets, and the people pull their hands out of the back. So that's just, baby kicking?
Yes, she was. I don't think she agrees with her.
I don't think her brain is formed enough to put together cogent thoughts to create, answers to such things as narrative.
She was kicking a lot during the movie, though. I think she liked it. I think.
What, the movie or the popcorn?
Oh, yeah.
Or the icy.
Might have been the icy.
See, the secret is to mix the blue raspberry with the white cherry, and you can't really tell which is which, so it doesn't really.
The high fructose corn syrup tastes like high fructose corn syrup.
It does. The red number 4 tastes like yellow number 9.
Alright, that was our lame-ass review of Star Wars The Last Jedi.
This is actually more just a window into our world right now at this moment, and what we've been doing for the last 4 days. It feels like a good expunging.
It's good.
Yeah, it feels like I'm extracting manatee nipple milk.
You've been warned if you haven't seen the film yet. Very awkward manatee nipple milk.
And if you haven't seen the film and you watched this entire review and you stuck through the entire thing, God bless you.
Seriously. What did the girls say when during that scene? Was there a reaction from them?
I don't know. I think Scarlett kind of giggled a little bit and just was just like. Honestly, I think I was cleaning popcorn up off me because my youngest spilled a lot of popcorn.
I think we all managed to spill popcorn successfully.
Thank God you did too, because I also spilled popcorn. So we bought a very large popcorn and ate maybe about 10. That's how it was gone within 5 minutes of watching.
Usually, it's because we eat it, though. Usually. I think we'd been popcorned out from the 2 days before.
The funny thing was, like, she lost her phone and left her phone there, so I had to go back.
Surprise, Brianna! Oh, I did it again. Hey guys, I'm Brianna.
This isn't live, so we don't know anyway. We already said goodbye, so you can sort of sign off.
That's true. All right. Signing out.
Nice to talk to you guys. Nice to meet all your online friends. Bye, guys.